Hello everyone, and welcome to this training video by Optimum Marine Consulting. When we talk about the ISM, International Safety Management System, let's be honest, it often looks like a bit of a mess. A mountain of procedures, endless checklists, audits, reports, drills, all things that need to be done and maintained on board. It can feel overwhelming, right? But if we can step back and understand the framework behind the ISM Code, we can approach its implementation with a lot of confidence. We can truly understand the correlation between all the moving pieces. That clarity gives us the necessary context and assurance when answering any question raised during an audit or inspection. Today, we're not going to look at it as a rulebook. We're going to look at the ISM Code as an evolving story, a vital narrative that shows exactly how safety is developed and sustained in the maritime world. Let's see how this structure is built from the ground up. Imagine a seasoned master mariner deciding to launch a new ship management venture. His years of experience tell him that the very first step is to define his core values, which he formalizes into his mission and vision. His mission is how he will provide service. For example, professional service at optimum costs while prioritizing safety and pollution prevention. His vision is where he wants to go, to be a major service provider in a few years with a great execution record in operation, safety, and zero pollution. This high-level vision guides everything. But soon after, the reality of running a commercial fleet sets in. He must comply with a mountain of international and local regulations. This is where the structure begins. He translates those regulations and core values into company policies. These policies are the guiding posts. They define the company's stance on safety and pollution. It's tough because these policies often feel abstract, but he knows they are the legal and ethical backbone of the entire operation. But you can't run a ship on policies alone. You need actionable processes and procedures. Having spent years at sea, he realizes that out of the enormous amount of operations happening on board, and the lots of machinery fitted, there are some whose failure can cause great safety and pollution-related issues. The way he identifies these is through risk assessment. By systematically assessing the hazards, he determines which operations and equipment pose the highest risk. These are designated as our critical operations and critical equipment. In an attempt to make sure these systems are always ready, he develops essential procedures for these critical operations, like complex cargo transfers or maneuvering, essential maintenance routines, and critical spare parts inventories for the vital machinery, like main engines or steering gear. This attention to detail ensures that the systems most likely to cause catastrophic harm are the most rigorously managed. For every single job to be done properly, he creates checklists. These act as quick, easy-to-use reference points. To ensure critical machineries are always available, it's a great idea to have an additional machine. This is called physical redundancy. This is actually done for most of the bridge navigational and radio equipment, where having a backup system is both essential and physically feasible. However, for big and expensive machineries like the main engine, or even critical equipment like the emergency generator, this will not be possible, often due to physical and financial reasons. So, he takes the next best option, to have a backup plan ready in case they fail. These contingency plans consist of detailed response procedures. Examples include the specific actions to be taken in case of main engine failure, or the steps for recovering the vessel after a blackout or from a dead ship condition. This focus on procedural backup ensures that even without a duplicate piece of equipment, the crew has a structured, documented response to regain control and maintain safety. Now, let's talk about standby machinery. These are those systems that aren't used often, the passive systems, but are absolutely essential when an emergency strikes. Think of the engine room's hyper-miss fire suppression system or an emergency fire pump. He knows that for these systems to be reliable, relying on passive maintenance isn't enough. They require rigorous standby equipment test schedules. By regularly testing and inspecting this passive equipment, they ensure it works instantly and reliably when the crew needs it most. But he knows a ship is a floating factory where emergencies can happen at any time. This leads to the detailed framework of emergency preparedness. He methodically identifies all potential worst-case scenarios that can occur on board, from fire and flooding to collision, grounding, or man overboard. For each scenario, he doesn't just write a procedure, he develops a full response strategy, including clear response procedures, step-by-step instructions for the crew, specific checklists, quick reference points to ensure no crucial step is missed under pressure, regular drills and exercises to ensure the crew can execute these procedures perfectly and quickly in a real crisis. This comprehensive approach guarantees that the system is ready, not just for normal operation, but also for when things inevitably go wrong. So, the master mariner, the chief storyteller of safety, now has the system in place. But a great plan is useless without the right people. To ensure accountability and clarity, he subdivides the operation and develops detailed roles and responsibilities for every staff member, integrating the human element into the system. He recruits certified and competent staff to run the ships and shore management team. He also sets a system to empower these staff and provide them the essential support, authorization, and training to sustain smooth operations. The company is in business, but the critical question is, how effective are these operations truly? The master mariner knows he needs a constant, layered feedback loop to answer this. Checking performance, the feedback loop. It all starts at the ship level. The master initiates the first feedback step by holding a ship safety committee meeting with the crew. This is where the ground-level reality hits the policy. The crew's feedback is the essential raw data. Following this, the master makes sense of all the inputs from the crew in the safety meeting, combining them with his own experience, and provides a comprehensive feedback to the company in the form of a master's review. This document is the master's professional, filtered assessment of the SMS implementation on board. Next, the master mariner needs an objective check. He appoints company internal auditors to visit the ships and audit the physical implementation of the SMS. This internal audit is the company's own reality check, identifying shortcuts and system gaps before they become major problems. Finally, to get the ships officially certified as per the ISM Code, he must invite external auditors, usually from the flag state or classification society. Think of this as the required chapter where an external editor reviews the story for compliance. To ensure total accountability, he implements this same robust internal and external audit process for his shore management team, ensuring every part of the operation is scrutinized. This layered approach guarantees that feedback flows from the deck plates all the way to the top management. As the year closes, he gathers his team for the annual Company Management Review Analysis of the SMS. This is the annual summit where the entire narrative is analyzed, flaws are corrected, and the plot for the next year is written. The review leads to identification of shortcomings, implementation of improvement measures, including continuous training, setting KPIs to measure progress. This process closes the loop, transforming the SMS into a continuous cycle of improvement. The continuous cycle isn't just about satisfying an auditor, it's about making sure that the story of every voyage and every crew member ends safely. You're part of this living document. So, we've seen that the ISM Code is much more than just a set of rules. It's a living, evolving story that begins with a clear vision and is sustained by diligent, continuous improvement from the sea right back to the shore management. Every procedure, every checklist, and every audit report is a chapter in your commitment to safety and excellence. At Optimum Marine Consulting, we are dedicated to helping you achieve these high standards. We provide comprehensive consulting and inspection services for international ships, pleasure and commercial yachts, and Australian domestic vessels in all matters relating to technical, QHSE, quality, health, safety, and environment, and regulatory requirements. Thank you for participating in this training video.